I can have your attention, please. We'll get him. Who's that bell ringer? You get a pay raise. I should have known it was him. Welcome. Hello. Good to see you. Welcome to the second annual Ring of Freedom reception. My name is Ben Case. I'm Executive Director for the Office of Advancement for the National Rifle Association. It's exciting to see all of us who share the same passion for freedom gathered together in this one place. And it's not just here at the Audubon Country Club. It's at the Kentucky Expo Center and throughout Louisville. It's just great to have so many people who care about freedom gathered together. Ring of Freedom members are devoted to a common goal to protect the U.S. Constitution and the rights and privileges that go hand in hand with the Second Amendment. Last year, we announced the establishment of the Ring of Freedom as the NRA's premier donor recognition society. Members who give a minimum of $1,000 are recognized in the Ring of Freedom as loyalty members, and people who give over $100,000 are recognized as Liberty Fund members. Later tonight, Wayne LaPierre will announce an exciting new level within the Ring of Freedom program. Members of the Ring of Freedom embody all that is great about America, about freedom, and about the NRA. And I am so proud to be associated and to be a part of each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your commitment and your unequaled devotion to the NRA. This evening, the officers have asked that you join me in honoring NRA members that passed away in 2007 and gave a gift from their estates to the NRA. There is no clearer statement that one can make about their lifetime value, the way they value freedom, than by making a planned gift to the NRA. In the room tonight, there's a poster right over here with the names of these patriots. I ask that you take a moment tonight to consider the commitment that these people made to our freedom. It's worth noting that these 45 donors made gifts totaling over $12 million to the National Rifle Association. We are grateful to each and every one of them, and I hope, as I said, you'll take some time today to reflect on what they've done and thank them for what they've done. Now it's my pleasure to introduce to you the president of the National Rifle Association, John Sigler. John and his wife, hold on. I've got some good words to say about this guy first. John and his wife, Ingrid, who is here. Where is she? Right here. There she is. Hi, Ingrid. They're Ring of Freedom Liberty Fund members and Heritage Society ambassadors. Their hard work and lifetime commitment are reflected in their dedication to this cause. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's my pleasure to introduce to you the President of the National Rifle Association, Mr. John Sigler.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you for a lifetime together. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be with this very special group of people tonight, people who have made a very, very real commitment to our association's future. Tonight I'll speak in more detail on our future, but before I do, I want to recognize my fellow officers and others who lead the NRA. I'll begin with my first Vice President, Ron Schmeitz. Ron is not only our first Vice President, but also the Whittington Center's NRA Special Contribution Fund Chairman, and he's accompanied by his wife, Ann. Ron? Thank you for your service, sir. David Keene, NRA Second Vice President, and his wife, Donna. a very special person who is not an officer, but who is certainly part of our leadership team, Susan LaPierre. Woody Phillips, NRA Treasurer. Woody? Mr. Smiley Face himself, Jim Land, NRA Secretary. Past President Kane Robinson, the Executive Director of NRA General Operations, and his wife Donna. Chris Cox, the Executive Director of the Institute for Legislative Action, and his wife Courtney. Alan Kors, President of the NRA Foundation, and his wife Darlene. Frank Brownell, Vice President of the NRA Foundation. Wayne Sheets, Executive Director of the NRA Foundation. Bill Daly, Chairman of the NRA Civil Rights Defense Fund, and his wife Mary Ann. Past President Robert Corbin, Vice President of the NRA Civil Rights Fund. Dave Bennett, Vice Chairman of the NRA Whittington Center's NRA Special Contribution Fund, and his wife Jan. I've obviously left someone very important out, and I'll get to him in a moment. We're also pleased to have members of the Board of Directors and Trustees who serve those organizations with us this evening, including past President Sandy Froman. Would all the members of the NRA Board of Directors and all of the trustees of those funds please stand and be recognized by the folks in this room. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is a night to talk about thanking you for helping to secure the future of the National Rifle Association of America. Before becoming president of the NRA, I had the privilege to serve as the chairman of the NRA Finance Committee for about 10 years. During that time, it became very clear to me, and certainly to the other members of the committee, that in order for the NRA to grow and prosper in the years ahead, the association must have a clear priority to secure our financial future. If you examine many of the great not-for-profit institutions of this country, you will find one element in common to their success. They all have a strong financial base, anchored by large, in some cases very large, endowments. This is where the National Rifle Association needs to be. And thanks to those of you gathered in this room this evening, this is where we're headed. To get there not only takes generosity, it requires our collective individual leadership and dedication to the task at hand. Friends, it's all about building relationships with our families, our friends, our peers, and our associates. Those who share our great love for freedom, the NRA, and the right of decent law-abiding citizens to legally own and use firearms. When they become informed, they too will become committed to securing NRA's financial future. So tonight, in addition to saying thank you for your generous financial leadership and support, I ask you for your leadership in reaching out to others. From my experience on the Finance Committee, it became clear to me that one of the most important things that I could do during my term was to continue to build on the solid foundation put in place by our immediate past President Sandy Froman. On becoming president last year, one of my first priorities was to announce my goal to raise an additional $100 million in gifts and commitments during the following 24 months. We have made great progress. I will announce to the Board of Directors on Monday our progress toward this goal. And I promise to write to each one of you later this month to bring you up to date as to what that number is. Achieving and exceeding our goal by next year's annual meeting in Phoenix will position our next president, Ron Schmeitz, to set an even higher level of expectation in this association-wide priority. It's worth noting that Ron is CEO and Director of International Bank of Raton, New Mexico, and now serves as Chairman of the NRA Finance Committee. Our priority is clear, as is the NRA leadership's commitment to a strong future built on a stronger financial base. Speaking of leadership, please join me in thanking a very special group of NRA members who volunteered their time and leadership to help make this event and 24 other Office of Advancement related events possible during these annual meetings. They are the 2008 NRA Annual Meeting Louisville Advancement Advisory Committee. They're also the folks who serve as your distinguished host committee for this evening event. Mike and Kathy Ullman served as co-chairs of this group. Mike and Kathy, would you and the other members of your committee please raise your hands? Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you. On behalf of the nearly 4 million members of the NRA, please accept our deepest gratitude for all of your hard work. It's truly a pleasure to be among such good friends here tonight, and I thank you. Now it is my pleasure and my privilege to introduce another great leader to you, my friend and a friend to every gun owner in America, National Rifle Association's Executive Vice President and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Wayne LaPierre.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll tell you, it's a real honor to have all of you in this room tonight for what you're doing. And Dee Dee Foss, I see you. I'm thrilled you're here. I'll tell you, you're just one of the great people of the country and one of the great women of the National Rifle Association. We're thrilled you're here. You know, you've heard me say time and time again that if you look out, there really is a gathering of storm clouds out there. And all of our victories really do kind of hang in the balance. They could all be taken away in the years to come. We really do face a powerful array of anti-gun forces out there that we're going to have to meet head-to-head every single day. The United Nations, the Bloombergs, the Feinsteins, the Soroses, I mean, you know the whole crowd that's trying to take away the freedom in the United States to own firearms and eliminate the whole culture of people that own firearms, enjoy the shooting sports in this country. NRA, this organization, if we're going to save it, really does have to be the wall between the Second Amendment and those that want to see the Second Amendment destroyed. There's nobody else to do it. All of you in this room have the ability to get between the people that want to destroy the Second Amendment and that freedom. You really do, and I know a lot of you are doing it already. When all's said and done, the Second Amendment needs a billion-dollar wall around it to protect it. And you are all helping to make that possible. It really is about forward-looking people that have a passion to take action and get involved. And thank goodness each of you in this room tonight have that. In anticipation that patriots like you would step forward and help us, NRA created the Ring of Freedom. The way we look at the Ring of Freedom, we look at it as a level of patriotism so profound, a place of historical value, a circle of reverence, a Ring of Freedom. This is the second year of the Ring of Freedom reception, and you all are the leaders in terms of that. I need each of you, as we leave here, to go out and be an ambassador for the NRA, to join us in the Ring of Freedom circle in terms of bringing other people in. and help build this wall around the Second Amendment. What we are undertaking is really a change in how we look at the funding needs of this association. Because if we're going to save freedom, it can't be just the people writing the $5, $10, $15, $20, $35 checks anymore. The goal is to build this financial wall so high that it's not going to matter how many George Soroses and how many Michael Bloombergs or Dianne Feinsteins or Senator Schumers or Obamas or Clintons or the UN try to get through this wall, around this wall, or tear it down. They're not going to be able to do it. As I said yesterday, I mean, this is one of the most important things in my life, and I know it's one of the most important things in all of your lives. So, this evening, it's my real pleasure to announce a new exciting level of distinction in the Ring of Freedom. It's a level that's called the Golden Ring of Freedom. And the Golden Ring of Freedom status is granted to Ring of Freedom members who make outright gifts of cash or assets totaling $1 million or more during their lifetimes to benefit NRA programs. This is such an honor that years from now, your kids and grandkids will say, I'm really glad my dad or mom stepped up and did that and helped save freedom. So I hope each of you view this as the highest calling of patriots. And tonight we're honored to recognize our charter members of the Golden Ring of Freedom. Ben and John, will you please join me in making the first presentations of the Golden Ring of Freedom to our new members.
Will the following people please come to the stage? Mr. Frank Brownell. Stand right over here. Mr. Philip Agnes. Mr. and Mrs. Larry Potterfield. And Mr. and Mrs. Joe Gregory. Frank Brownell, please step forward right here. Frank. Frank Brownell, a Harlan Carter level Golden Ring of Freedom member, has given well over $1 million in cash through the Brownell, stay right there, through the Brownell Family Foundation, Brownells Incorporated, F. Brownell and Sons Publishers, and through his own personal generosity. His gifts benefit many NRA programs. Frank is a leader. He was the first donor to make a 6-figure commitment to fund an NRA endowment. In addition, today, he serves as Vice President of the NRA Foundation. Frank, as a symbol of your leadership and dedication to the cause of freedom, we present you with this Golden Ring of Freedom jacket and welcome you to the Golden Ring of Freedom. Thank you. Phil Agnes, please step forward. Phil Agnes is a Harlan Carter level Golden Ring of Freedom member. He has given well over $1 million in cash to the NRA's general fund through the Philip R. Agnes Lead Trust. Philip, as a symbol of your leadership and dedication to the cause of freedom, we present you with this jacket and welcome you as a new member in the Golden Ring of Freedom. Thank you. Thank you. Larry and Brenda Potterfield, please step forward. Come on down. I think that one's free. Larry and Brenda are Harlan Carter level Golden Ring of Freedom members. They have given over $1 million in cash through personal gifts and work from their company, Midway USA. Larry and Brenda are very creative people. They created the highly successful NRA Roundup program. They developed, organized, and conducted the first Friends of the NRA event, which now has raised over $117 million for the NRA Foundation. Larry and Brenda, as symbols of your leadership and dedication to the cause of freedom, we present you with these Golden Ring of Freedom jackets and welcome you to the Golden Ring of Freedom. Joe and Cindy Gregory, please step forward. Joe and Cindy became Harlan Carter level Golden Ring of Freedom members on March 5th, 2008, when they made the largest individual commitment in the 137-year history of the NRA. They presented checks to the NRA totaling $1 million and made a pledge of $2 million to the National Rifle Association. I got to mention their son Jonathan is sitting right here. Now the bad news, folks. They want to use that pledge as a challenge, as a match, for people to give $6 million to the NRA, and it has to be cash or pledges, no planned gifts. They're using, Joe has asked that we use their gift as a challenge, as a matching gift, to raise $6 million in gifts at a minimum of $25,000 or more. You can make an outright gift or make it a 5-year pledge, but it's just wonderful that they are stepping forward to provide that kind of leadership and challenge to everyone at the National Rifle Association to support this association. Thank you for that very much. Stay right there, stay there, not done. Now I get to say it. Joe and Cindy, as symbols of your leadership and dedication to the cause of freedom, we present you with these jackets and welcome you to the Golden Ring of Freedom. We have 4 other Golden Ring of Freedom members that could not be here tonight. I know you're shocked. Yes, this is true. John and Judy Woods of St. Louis, Missouri, and Ugo and Monique Beretta of Brescia, Italy, which is not in the United States, in case you hadn't noticed. We would also be remiss if we did not remember the late William B. Ruger, who gave the first $1 million cash gift to the NRA in the history of the association. The gift was used to construct and endow the National Firearms Museum at the NRA headquarters. We will recognize these Golden Ring of Freedom members at a future event. Please join me in welcoming these Golden Ring of Freedom members. God bless America. Last year we created the Ring of Freedom, which brings us together tonight, as the NRA's premier donor recognition society. To ensure that the Ring of Freedom continues to grow, we have created a Ring of Freedom National Advisory Council. This group will provide the leadership and vision to further extend the Ring of Freedom and expand NRA's fundraising efforts. We have begun recruiting members to this new advisory council, and I look forward to introducing them to you next year. Joe and Cindy Gregory have graciously agreed to serve as our first co-chairs of this new National Ring of Freedom Advisory Council. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe Gregory.
Well, thank you, Ben, Wayne, John, NRA Host Committee, Board of Directors and Trustees, the NRA executives and staff, and to you, my fellow freedom fighters in the Ring of Freedom. Cindy and I are honored that we could serve as the first co-chairs of the Ring of Freedom National Advisory Council and as some of the first Golden Ring of Freedom members. I can assure you that we will wear these jackets and that these will be worn with the honor and respect befitting the organization. I believe it is entirely appropriate and necessary for Cindy and I to act by making this gift to the NRA Foundation and the Ring of Freedom as an investment in freedom's future. It is a privilege for us to join with you in supporting the NRA, and I would encourage all those who can consider making a significant gift to the Ring of Freedom to think about standing up now more than ever, more than any other time in our recent past. You and I have the ability to financially empower the NRA to fundamentally deliver the results that can ensure that our nation is a nation of the people, by the people, and for the people. I ask you to join us in continuing to invest in freedom's future and to encourage others to stand up for the Ring of Freedom. Now, there's another meaning to the word ring in the Ring of Freedom. And that's to let freedom ring by exercising our right to keep and bear arms. And that's why Cindy and I have made another donation and commitment to freedom that I'm announcing tonight. The NRA will build a National Ring of Freedom Memorial Site at its headquarters in Fairfax, Virginia. And at this site, we will permanently recognize Ring of Freedom members and also regularly remember the unarmed, innocent victims of violent crime. And we will do that ringing a 3,000-pound bronze bell called the Bell of Freedom at this memorial site. We're going to keep the attention on the politicians who would try to take away your right, the right of the people to protect themselves and their representative form of government. So tonight, Cindy and I are making a special symbolic gift to the NRA in honor of their stand to protect our constitutional freedoms. You know, symbols are always very important in our society. When the Declaration of Independence was first read, the nation's Liberty Bell rang out in the public square. And as they read that historic document and those famous words, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." The people there cheered, and the Liberty Bell rang out loud for several minutes more in celebration of this momentous occasion. And today, that great bronze bell still resides, hanging in Liberty Plaza in Philadelphia, as an inspiration to the people and a great symbol of our nation's struggle for freedom. And millions of Americans visit that monument today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased tonight to announce the dedication of another great bronze bell as a symbol of the NRA's dedication to our freedom. We are pleased to present to you the NRA's Freedom Bell. Now, this bell is in addition to the 3,000-pound bell that will be on site as a static display at the national headquarters in the future. This Freedom Bell will be a traveling display available for special NRA functions as a symbol of your organization's commitment to Second Amendment freedoms. And now I am honored to be the first person to ring this great symbol of Second Amendment freedom. And I would caution all of you in the front down here, be sure to protect your ears because this baby really rings. And so, my fellow NRA and Ring of Freedom members across this great nation and from every mountainside, we say, let freedom ring!
Let freedom ring through the halls of the White House.
Let freedom ring with sunrise on the opening day in the field.
Let freedom ring in every courthouse in America.
Let freedom ring for another 100 years over Camp Perry.
Let freedom ring across the beautiful vistas of the NRA Whittington Center.
Let freedom ring in the heart of the next generation.
For our 4 million members who wrote all those $5, $10, $15, $30 checks to get us where we are today, let freedom ring.
Thank you, members of the Ring of Freedom, especially our new Golden Ring of Freedom members, for your leadership and dedication to the mission of the NRA. Now, for those of you who just got to have one of these jackets, $2,830 a day between now and next year, you too can have a Golden Ring of Freedom jacket. Of course, any gift to the Ring of Freedom is greatly appreciated, and it really does make a lasting legacy for freedom. Let me mention that the Freedom Bell will be on prominent display this weekend at the Expo Center, along with information on the matching gift program and the Ring of Freedom. And I hope all of you have an enjoyable evening with your friends. Buses to the Marriott Hotel and to the Isla auction will be waiting outside, and I look forward to seeing all of you as we ring this bell next year in Phoenix, Arizona. God bless you. Good night.
That's all right, I'm sorry. Let's get you on this bell, buddy. You remember the Ring of Freedom? Oh, man. That's something. This is something? All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. And it's I will. I'll give you a
These bells are amazing. This one, Troy, New York, 1860.
Get in there just a little bit, okay? Get in there.
He's in there with us. Come in here with us. Let's do it together. Maybe we get behind you.
You know,
The other ones Yep. We're getting there. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything you do. Well, me too. The other ones
You look great up there.